Even's shed was in the middle of Dinas, near a bus stop. If we went up to Dinas Road, there was no one else around. To Even's shed we would go.
If we were meeting any of the boys anywhere, we'd say, I'll see you down by Even's shed, and you can more or less guarantee that your mate would be there waiting for you.
His shed was always open for everybody to go in and have a warm. And you sit on the top of the counter and he would tell us stories. His bag was always full of food and he would share it with us. He'd say, "Are you hungry?" And I would always say yes. He would give us a big piece of cake, but he'd cut the cake with the same knife as he cut the shoes with.
On cold nights, he'd leave us sit out the back, be on a pile of shoes. He'd have the stove going. It'd be lovely and warm. Even would tell us stories. We'd have a laugh. He'd give us maybe a cup of cocoa. But now and again, a stone would land on the top of Even's shed. I think a bomb had gone off. The shed being made of tin. Even would run out of the shed. I think he'd lose a pint of water trying to get his words out. Swear words to shout at the boys.
We always took our bicycles there whenever we needed to do a repair, punctures in particular.
If ever we wanted a football repaired, it was always taken to Evan. I even remember in school the teacher would ask me to take the football down if the stitching had gone, or if I wanted new lace in the ball, which I didn't mind doing because I was missing lessons, talking to Evan. One of the things I always remember, which I loved doing, was watching him put the studs in my football boots on Saturday morning. He must have done thousands of studs in people's boots for years and years and years.
We would deliver repaired shoes for him. He always gives us a few coppers then for taking them. I also used to go to Tonopandi very often for him to collect stuff from the saddlers. He'd give me the bus fare for that, which I saved by walking to Tonopandi there and back, and then I'd come home with about £28 nails and a big roll of leather under my arm. Once he'd finished the actual repairs, we'd be polishing the shoes and doing the heel balling on for him. And then he'd finish them off by staining the soles with ammonia, which smelled terrible.
If we played him up, he would tip ammonia on the floor so it would stink the shed out and we would scatter. But he also had a lovely sewing machine to repair the shoes. One day he wanted me to go over the Red Lion to pick up a flagon of cider. And I said, well, I will only go if I can have a go on that machine. And he said, well, you can't, it'll have your fingers. And I said, no, just let me have a try. And that was the first time I ever used a sewing machine, and it was a Cobbler's one, and I thought it was wonderful.
He was a master of recycling before the term was ever thought of. The dustmen on their rounds would save all the old shoes that they found, and on the way to the destructor, they would take them in and sell them to Evan. He would repair those he could, and the rest he would burn then as fuel in his stove. He'd repair shoes long after they were beyond economical repair. He'd use old car seat leather to patch them for us, which was a godsend to our parents.
One of the memories I have of my mother telling us to go down Evans to get a pair of shoes. Sometimes they were 6pence, 9pence, maybe a shilling. If you were poor, you didn't have to pay. It wasn't very often I had to pay.
And I've seen him repairing a miner's boots after they'd been in a fall and they'd been badly twisted, but he'd struggle and he'd stretch and he'd bend until he'd get them straight, and he'd manage to repair them somehow. He'd get them.
Usually we'd be going to school and Evan be getting off the bus. But Evan was still there when we came home from school after dark. He'd be tapping away. He did the same thing day after day after day until the day he died. Later when Ivan died, I remember looking across the road and thinking how sad Ivan's shed looked, all looked up. He looked quite eerie, the door closed, no light on in the shed.
Our mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, you name it, everybody was left with wonderful memories of Ivan.
After I left school, I don't know if something rubbed off me of Ivan, but I worked for 10.5 years in a shoe factory and I enjoyed every minute of it.